What? I'm a rocket. Who says we ain't in the building? Who says we ain't into building? We the Moors, master masons, architects for your children, repping Friday 13th like Jason, without the killing. But we promote life, oh, it's all about the feeling. And we invoke light, yo, we them light beings. Though you might see him on the block getting his posture, might be talking to cops, giving them caution. Occasionally wearing his fez when he's walking. See the turning heads, whispering, gawking. But he's locked in, and he's zoned out while we boxed in our own house.
We study the mystics, the adepts, the magi, wisdom of the ancients can uncalcify as possible mission. Free mental numbness, extract the substance with minds of dumbness. Use the source, don't care what some purport, as we know by being told man knows not. Many before the floor, souls God bought, placed in the devil's hands, ruling the seven lands. To dogma rituals, negro spirituals, brainwash subliminal, keeps thinking to a minimal. They still criminal, in a world digital so pitiful. Mental survival so critical, it's visible. Can you see past righteous blocks? Hashtag zombies with waves of cyber thoughts. No need for cell phones, they speak through saw palms. It's nothing for alarm, chips and forearms.
Wind, brass, and bass, such a beautiful serenade. Women feeding me grapes, I'm feeding to give me serenades. Whether the sky is clear or gray, rain when you hear a fake, giving life to see. Speaking through who not here today. Show you the future in a glimpse. Then I always look to these holes like hallucinary pimps. Sun walked the desert, been more ever since I found God. Look back, used to see his prince. Forget being a prince, I'm a G. OD, grown man, no Jody. Deny it, you don't know me. Don't make me tap into the old me. That's like a couple hundred years. Walk around town with a couple hundred peers and release the peace of up fears. The sun gon' shine, so what tears? This young brother here just trying to get his third eye clear.
Moors don't sleep. Invest in your mind, body, and unleash. Real life rap, spitting over tracks. Conscious thinking and living and then attack. Moors don't sleep. Invest in your mind, body, and unleash. Real life rap, spitting over tracks. Conscious thinking and living and then attack.
So as the moon sets, the sun takes its place. It spoons on blocks, inspired spots, filled spaces. Peel back, rats, who got cases. Fire stain the corridors of flammable faces. Game changers, rule benders, and no pretenders. Style lenders, channel my vibe through the vibrant optic lenses. Send a message to our veterans. Soldiers up and get it in. We on our verge, we on merge, subliminal beings. Third eye seeing, still I participate unwilling.
They wanna break me, shake, bake, grade me. Rolling with my name G, double OMG. SON is crazy. For a minute that you think you could take me for a fool, like a native to his land, being schooled by a foreign dude. You mistaken me, spiders on the roof, in the dark rooms. I've been saying you mistaken me. You better move or I mark it. Power pin is my tongue, your resistance to target. Revealing all lies and deceit on the market. Genocide, carry out in pockets, I knock it down, bulldozer. David to Goliath, it's an exposure. Some big cats ruling and it's getting closer to your downfall. Round up all your soldiers.
Little homie, I was seeking a fortune, tired of misfortune. I just wanted a portion, everything that I never had, though I needed my portion. Blowing like porcelain, haters battle as porcelain. Getting broke, tired of being broke. How we acquire hope is the deep skeleton dope, just to keep us afloat. Mind as deep as the boat, brain is a lethal weapon. We one need to elope. When I speak, I provoke. Walk in the room with my aura feeling like heavy smoke. Feel like when the levee broke under my Louis Philly, the semi-poke. Cause them cops that killed the boy, yeah, the joke. The cost of living, higher profit to private prison. These little girls that sell their bodies just to pay tuition. These little niggas selling niggas just for bail condition. It's like the slavery never ended with the intermission. I wanna free the world, but I'm one man. A couple ones like me, and it's one plan. I wanna free the world, but I'm one man. A couple ones like me, and one plan.
Peace. We're here. We're here for our session again with Brother Haikon, who unfortunately can't be on here today. People hating. They're even hating on stereo. It's crazy. You can't even get anything done out here without trolls and fact checkers and everybody else trying to stop this word from getting out. But they're not going to be able to stop it. We're not going to be able to stop it. We also want to put out there, this is our Saturday with our men's group. So if anybody out there is interested in the men's group, the online men's group, you could email virtualmensgroup@gmail.com for the link. It's 10 a.m. every other Saturday, and it's just for the brothers to get together and figure out our stuff. Let's just play this bubble.
Hey, the lady down in the next room says she wants to swallow somebody's fucking load. Just thought I'd let everybody know up in this motherfucker.
All right, there we go. Peace, brother Sheldon.
Peace.
I don't know, brother Sheldon. Oh no, that wasn't you. I was talking to the other brother on there. I don't know if he's muted or something. Peace, yo. What's good?
I'm all right, man. Something's going on with stereo. I don't even know. Like, it was muted for, like, nothing was happening for like about 4 or 5 minutes or something.
Oh, for
I don't
real?
know what's going on.
I've had that.
How you doing?
Are you well?
Peace, Mighty Maverick.
Peace, my brothers, all of you, and everybody listening.
Ashe. So
Say.
So yesterday we were on stereo yesterday with some brothers. They were talking about all types of different topics, and then it got into Nipsey Hussle, and the point that I was bringing up with them was that Nipsey Hussle set a standard for all the Crips. So how come all the Crips didn't follow the standard that Nipsey Hussle set? Why they still murdering their own brothers in the street and all that stuff? If he's their man, if he's the man, if he's the number one Crip or whatever, then they should probably be following his standard. Go ahead.
Let me just get something clear here so I have a better understanding of what you're talking about. When you say a standard meaning not to kill.
Right, standard meaning change your life, start some businesses, be an example, to the children so that they know that it's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking
Yeah.
hell, man.
So
you see, the thing is.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, whether it's Nipsey Hussle or whoever it is, first of all, I commend them. Okay, I commend them for standing up as a beacon of light amongst billions of human beings, showing ways that actually do make a huge difference in people's lives, no matter who they are, where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunate as it is, there's a bigger monster in the shadows at play that's always fighting against this narrative of good. Unfortunately, in between that, you get people that, they have a lack of an understanding and education of what is really being talked about here. And in amongst that, some fall to the wayside, some turn out to be, you get people that troll you and all sorts until the reality of it comes around, and it eventually will.
Right.
And that's where they're going to turn around and say to themselves that I was a real dick.
Right. Right. So
Yeah.
So with the conversation, a lot of people took offense to how I was talking, because my whole point was, well, if Nipsey Hussle was doing all those great things for the community or whatever, then he wasn't really a Crip. He was a good brother.
No. Yeah.
So why are you even
He saw himself differently.
Yeah, why are you even categorizing him, in that negative space?
I don't believe anybody. I personally do not believe that anybody should be labeled in any way whatsoever unless they state themselves so.
To be such, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So because at the end of the day, look, whether no matter what direction in life we take, we are going to eventually learn about the rights and the wrongs. But it doesn't mean that your life's over. If you realize that you're doing something that is wrong and you turn your life around and you aim that way, even if shit goes wrong in the process, and it does, it doesn't mean to say that this person is a terrible person. I mean, fucking hell, people turn from the worst part of themselves to the greatest part of themselves, and they surprise themselves.
Now
This is it.
another part of with regard to what you said is that our position again with regard to why we're even doing this is because of are you more or less? What is color of law? So him.
What is called?
What is color of law?
Yeah.
Right. So with him taking this position of being a man and being responsible to having a wife, one wife, you know what I mean, and being a responsible son and whatever else, he can't be classified as a Crip.
No.
Even if even if he says so and he has it tattooed on him,
no.
he can't say I'm a Crip because the connotation behind being a Crip is negative.
You see,
and he's doing positive things, right?
Yeah, look at such connotations throughout the world, time and history. Okay, what you will find, I found thus far that no matter who these people were, whether it was a Roman Empire, Caesar, whatever other country, whatever leader, they were a part of some. We call gang today, but they were part of some sort of organization.
Right.
Obviously, they're not say gang, but in reality, they weren't recognized for the group and the gang that they were in. They were recognized for who they were. Nobody ever talked about a certain leader of a country being, part of this gang member. No, because these people actually had a historical effect on history. Unfortunately, and this is what really, really winds me up. Fucking hell, man. What's happened to all the indigenous people of the world? We're talking Asia, Africa. They've had heroes, they've had leaders. Why aren't we being taught anything about them? Why aren't people speaking about them?
That's because they classified them as Negro, black, and colored, and took them out of history.
If you want to go find do you know what the Eden gene is?
No.
Right, the Eden gene is the only gene that you will find that has, I don't know, I'm not quite sure, you'll have to look this up yourself, but it has so many different benefits and so many, it's like a superior gene to the rest of the genes, and the only people that you will find this gene with are the black women. Fucking hell, doesn't that speak about how in their own rights they have a form of superiority? I mean, I don't mean that in an egotistical way.
No, but that's what it is. It is supposed to be egotistical because in all the ancient cultures, all the high priestess, all the gods, all the whatever were women, and they were Asiatic. We wouldn't
That's right.
We wouldn't use the term black here. Like I get where you're coming from, right? But we don't say black because we know black.
Excuse my ignorance.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. We're that's what it's about. Just like if you're from Scotland, England, Germany, we wouldn't call you white because you're not.
My parents actually.
People aren't complexions.
Let me tell you what my parents was from. My parents are from India, but as I've been digging more and more into my history, I've been learning that my genealogy contains sub-Saharan African, Arabic, Turkish, and some other country, I'm not quite sure where. And I'm the actual, the first generation Indian.
Think about this now, right? Think about this, because you have probably known the history and not really paid attention to it. But
go on.
Are you familiar with British India Company?
Fucking hell, you're talking East India Company.
Okay, and are you familiar with Hindustan?
Yeah, of course, India.
All right. So So the same thing that we're talking about, that we don't want to be classified as black, we identify ourselves as Moors, and then there's Sri Lankans who call themselves Moors, and there's
Hold on. Did you say Moors, Moors?
yes, yes.
That's right. That's actually, believe it or not, but I was learning about that last night.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, but that also includes Hindustan and Ceylon and all that, because all that is part of the Mauryan Empire.
Mauryan Empire, yep. All that's Mauryan Empire.
Go ahead, brother Sheldon,
Awesome.
because I know you're on that side of the world. I was hoping you would get on here, so the powers are working properly.
Go on, brother. Let's hear you.
Yeah, because I domiciled at Germany right now, so
I see.
so just kind of went off of the Nipsey Hussle thing, but I wanted to comment on that. The really quick. What's interesting about Nipsey Hussle being a Crip, super technically was an original Crip the way he was acting, because the Crips weren't like a violent gang or anything like that in its inception.
I thought something like that.
So he was, if anything, he was the essence of the original beginning of the Crips, like taking care of the community. I mean, what was it? Community, something protection or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question though, since you said that. Let me ask you this question. So if he's the epitome of what it is to be a Crip, right? Based on the history of what this is, do people can people who are not living by that standard claim him? Should they be able to?
That's a great question.
Yeah, that's what because that's where I was going at with the conversation with these brothers yesterday, because they're saying that, well, the community, everybody in the community isn't like that. Everybody in the community isn't on the negative side of it. People in the community know that stuff is supposed to be running a certain way if you're saying you're a Crip. But then the predominant narrative you hear is the negative stuff, not the stuff that Nipsey's doing.
Right.
So that would have to mean that the community itself is not living to that standard. It ain't nobody else around them. You know what I mean? It can't be anybody else. It's them not living up to the example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
So if you're not living up to the example, just like we say with Moors, you know what I mean? Like if the objective is nationality and birthrights, but you're talking about package selling, should you be able to call yourself Moor? You shouldn't be able to call yourself Moor. So I'm saying you shouldn't be able to rep Nipsey Hussle. If you're claiming you're a Crip and you're not living up to the standard of what Nipsey Hussle is resurrecting, considering that everybody thought the Crips was some negative stuff, and then if we're finding out that the origin of Crips is to basically do what the Black Panthers did and stuff, have breakfast program, have a community center, then obviously the gangbanging people are a fraud.
Wow.
But so I wanted to get from your, based on your, because that perspective is not how people talk about it. They just talk about it like, they just say Crip randomly, and he was a Crip, so that means the Crips were doing good stuff. No, it doesn't mean that. He was doing good stuff. He might claim to represent all these Crips or whatever like that, but if their standard's not his, I don't think they should be able to claim him as theirs.
Yeah, the what you just said there is so direct to the point, straight forward, a hard truth in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, that's a hard truth, and
It shouldn't be.
It should be, yeah, but it's a hard truth, and it makes 100% sense, really. Now, if I was to tie that into the Moors thing, you know, when you're saying like if Moors are selling packages, they shouldn't be able to call themselves Moors. Well, I think that's a little bit different because of our history is so vast and there was positive and negative. You know what I mean?
So much of it is missing. The great part's missing.
So with the Crips thing, I mean, because that's so, it's pretty much recent. What the Crips started.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. So for example, I'm saying from the perspective of saying that you're a Moor, not bloodline or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm talking about using a Moroccan flag, but you're selling packages. Wearing a fez on, but you're selling packages. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be able to claim those things. If the standard of Moors was not to sell packages, then you shouldn't be claiming more and selling packages. You know what I mean? Like even if we say from the history perspective, okay, let's use Juali as the timeline.
Exactly.
As the standard.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, not Moors in history.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're looking at 1913. From that point on, when this man Noble Juali, the first person to start telling us that we're Moors over here, telling us that.
What year was this?
1913.
1913.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm just looking at the history of the Crips. Fucking hell, it's mind blowing. But what you're talking about is the birth of this.
No. What we're talking about in 1913, we're talking about the information coming to the people that are called today African Americans, which doesn't make sense, or Negro, black, and colored at the Americas.
You're talking about words of real wisdom, aren't you? You know, reminding the reminder of who these people were.
Right. So Noble Drew Ali came and started the old Canaanite temple, and he was giving people in 1913, and he was giving people the knowledge of their nationality and birthright, that they're not Negro, black, and colored, but they're Moors.
Yeah.
So that's what I was about to say, like, to continue with what Kudjo was saying, and I agree with you in that sense, because once Noble Drew Ali put that out and he set the standard of tying us back to our history and our birthrights, he set the standard in a sense of what if anything, Moorish American should be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? And based on that standard, if Moors are doing stuff opposed to that, like selling packages and so on and so forth, should they even be, in a sense, able to call themselves Moors, because they're not, they're going against the 5 principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
Right.
So with that, that's a common sense thing, and to me, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And 100%.
Hold on, there's 4 bubbles here. Let's just see what's going on with those before we carry on.
All right.
Islam, my brothers. Peace and love, Kudjo. Peace and love, Sheldon. Peace and love, Maverick.
Invoke it.
I agree. You're talking about nobility and being honorable. So yeah, and I'm sure the Bloods and the Crips actually started from tribal, actual tribes, actual Moorish American tribes, or more American tribes. But I think it is one and the same thing as Moors selling free knowledge, and gaining off of it is treacherous. The same way the so-called crew members are going against the codes. You're supposed to really, the whole point of crews and gangs is to protect the people, make sure everything's running smoothly and those that can't talk are able to be heard.
Grand Rising Empress, appreciate everyone's presence today. I'm just checking in and listening. What is the topic about today? It's just open talk. I think you should probably set a topic so everyone knows what we're talking about. Give thanks. I'm in the listening.
The reminder of who we are. Do you get what I mean? Can't be who we were and not. Well, we've come far away from who we were, but we're still who we are, if that makes sense. Once the people over here get it, yeah, seriously. And I said that the other day on a live, but it wasn't on someone's show, or maybe it was on my show, but it wasn't Noble Ali, it was actually Taj that said that once the Moors over here get it, that's when it will be domino effects.
Alright, serious question. Stand up or sit down when you're wiping your ass? What the hell was that?
I don't know. I don't know what that last one was. I don't know what that last one was.
I don't think we want to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you guys.
Oh, for
hashtags.
sure.
What do you want me to put down as hashtags?
Oh, what is color of law?
What is color of love?
What is color of law?
Law. L-A-W, law.
It won't let me.
For hashtags. I guess hashtags is probably spirituality. What else is there?
Metaphysics.
Yeah, metaphysics, if it's there.
Hashtag Moors, if it's there.
Or esoteric. Or esoteric, maybe?
Hashtag esoteric.
Yep. Esoteric.
Hashtag Buddha. Hashtag Confucius. Hashtag Christianity, Islam. It doesn't matter. All of it goes back to the foundation.
Does indeed.
Everything goes back to the foundation. And it's interesting too, I'm still okay, I have to ask you something. Because it's tripping me out right now. So if and this is not meant any way or whatever, I'm just curious and I ask questions. I don't play like questions are wrong or whatever. So how come if you're from India, your icon thing looks like a European?
Probably because the skin tonality. I'm not quite sure really.
Because you could pick what you look like on there.
So, say again.
You could pick what you look like.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just put it together. I do change it every now and then, but I'm not on this app every day. You see.
Oh, okay.
And being on here today, I think it's been quite different talking to you guys.
Right.
Listening to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll change over time.
Yeah. Because when you said that you were from India, I was like,
sorry, I lost it.
Yeah, when you said you were from India, I look at it that people who from India would look like mine.
I'm sorry, I keep losing you.
Yeah.
Say that again.
People from India would look like Brother Sheldon and like my avatar.
Shall I tell you something? I went to India in 2016. My first time I went, 40 something. I went with my family. You won't believe I was, because we are on the we're just off the Arabian Sea. We're on the west coast, and as we started traveling, you see people of all.
Oh, you muted again. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah, you see people of all skin tones, and you think to yourself, hold on a minute, what's going on here? And my curiosity got the better of me. So I was sat with my family, and we were having a discussion at this one shrine we went to, and there was a family there, but they didn't look Indian. And I'm thinking to myself, is it me? What's going on here?
Like when you say they didn't look Indian, what do you mean they didn't look Indian?
When I say Indian, you know what it is? When you go to a place like India, doesn't matter the skin tone.
Mm.
You will automatically get to learn.
No, but I mean, but on the spectrum, were they on the darker side or the lighter side? From what you?
I would say she would. I've got to say she was beautiful. It was a beautiful ebony color.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't explain it to you.
Right.
And she was attending to the shrine. My God, I couldn't believe the spirituality I was seeing with her. And we were observing this from a distance. So when we went to the shrine, we spoke, and I got my kids. I goes, ask questions.
Yeah.
And she was so brilliant. She was so brilliant. It was unbelievable. It was like she was talking like a native Indian.
Right.
And then, I broke the question. I goes, if you don't mind me asking, because your language is slightly different, where are your ancestors from? That's the question I always get my children to ask wherever we go.
Mm-hmm.
And then she had a big smile come up on her face, and she says, my ancestry is from Africa. Mm-hmm. She goes, we traveled over 100 and something years ago from over there to here, and some people from over here went over there. And I thought to myself, wow, I'm telling you.
Now think about this now. The only way that could happen is if all the continents were one.
Very good point.
That couldn't happen with Atlantic Oceans being there and Pacific Oceans.
Yeah, but you see, water. She was specifically stating that they came on the boats or something.
Yeah, most definite. But it wasn't the Atlantic Ocean they were crossing. Is where your mind has to go.
It was the Arabian Gulf.
It wasn't. Hear what I'm saying. Remember that we're on the side of the Americas. Right, and you are saying that she's talking like a native American.
No, I'm talking about in India.
I know. That's what I'm trying to piece together for you. That when you're talking about, we're talking about India and we're talking about Arabian Gulfs and we're talking about Africa, you have to include America. It's not separate. As soon as you look at America as over there, you just skewed your whole perspective.
I'm not quite understanding what you're saying when you say America there.
America, where we're located is in America. When we're talking,
we're located in the West, yes.
Yeah, we're located in the West, right? So when we make reference to history and the populating of the planet from people moving from a central location outward.
Yeah.
Right? That has to include America.
Right.
That has to include the West in that conversation. Right. Because there's stuff in the West that's older than stuff in the East.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I understand.
Right.
I discovered something.
Good.
You talking about that, I discovered something that I'm still coming to grips with. If you look at where England is and the water in between England and the European landmass, at one time, all of that was one complete landmass.
Right.
Yeah. And when I was looking at that, I thought to myself, let me dig up. So I started digging through through different websites and surveys and all that, and I discovered that apparently the landmass in between England and European continent was much bigger than England itself. Not only that it was some sort of a central hub that was what's the word for it? It was a point where people used to travel to all over the world.
Right.
So, and I thought to myself, I tried putting that. I'm still working on it. It's mind-boggling. So you've got a very good point, and I want to say thank you for that.
Yeah. Hold your thought, Brother Sheldon. Let me just hit these bubbles right here.
Peace and love, Empress Ree. Picking you up, sending you love.
So that person that asked that last question about if you sit down or stand up while you wipe your ass is because of this other podcast before you guys are talking about it. So now, like, people coming out, and they're curious on how much people do that.
Okay.
There's some all kinds on this app.
Yo, the bubbles here are crazy. The bubbles here are crazy. I thought chats were bad. The bubbles here are crazy. But yeah, go ahead, Moor.
No, what I was gonna say is with Mighty Maverick, what he just said about England being part of the landmass of Europe, there wasn't any that to me. I don't know when that was, but
You see, I'm still working.
that would make sense on two parts because if the Phoenicians now, or when the Phoenicians then went up into that region and settled there back in 1000, 1500 BC, it's like, did they take ships or did they travel on the land and get up there?
What if there was a third option?
What if there's a third option?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Before I went to India, I'm going to make it quick as possible. When I went to India, I started looking at the country in and out, history, books, everything. I discovered there was a war not far from where we were, 4,500 years previous. They were talking, and it's the same shit I'm getting from everybody, even the people when I'm talking to them. And they're saying that there were supposed to be these flying objects called Vimana raining fire down on their enemies from the skies. So just take that into consideration. That I do believe a lot of history isn't being shown to us as it really was.
Most definitely.
Well, of course. I mean, like I've seen those images of dealing with the pictures of Hindustan and the world and the war and stuff like that. I've seen pictures like that online.
Yeah.
And and my mother's very, very into Hinduism. With all the different gods like Lakshmi and Hanuman, and you know what I mean.
Look, I may differ to believe in what the purposes of the gods are or whatever, but I do believe each and every one was created for a specific purpose that is connected to Earth and the energies of Earth that maybe we don't completely understand yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. I mean, because I think let me see if I remember correctly. I think Lakshmi deals with the wind.
Yeah.
The wind. I think it's the wind and wealth. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. She's super. Like Lakshmi actually came to visit my mother.
Wow.
And as well as my mother's had dreams dealing with Shiva.
Oh, the goddess of destruction.
Yo, you just reminded me about me having a dream about Hanuman.
Oh, my mother had a dream about Hanuman as well.
Yeah, yo. And that was nuts. Yeah.
It was funny because she cussed him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like she told me in the dream he was like, because he's huge, right?
Yeah.
Like he's just massive.
Yeah. He was
and she said he was making all this noise and walking all over the place. And she screamed up to him, was like, "Hey, what are you making all this noise for?" And he looks down on her. Huh? What are you saying? And she's like, "Yeah, stop making all this noise and cover yourself up because the loincloth and stuff like that." So tells him to cover himself up, and he's looking all perplexed at her, and then he actually took his robe and covered himself up and looked at her and says, "Like, is that better?" I said, "Only my mom, boy. Only my mother."
Only mom, yo. Only mom. Hanuman messed up.
Yeah.
Right, going back to that thing. Going back to that thing we were talking about earlier about the Asiatic woman being God. Yeah, she humbled Hanuman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see, if you look, a lot of the goddesses right across the world, the goddess of the moon, there was one called Diana. If you look at the depiction on the Starbucks cup, they're all one. The Statue of Liberty, they're all one.
Yeah.
Throughout history, you can trace them all up, and they all follow one from one to another, where they've slightly been transformed to someone else, or maybe to look like something or someone else.
Yep.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that's a pattern, if that's a pattern throughout the world, then there should be no wars and no fighting.
Absolutely.
And no hatred. There's supposed to be peace on earth. If everybody's the same thing, if everybody comes from the same source, what's there fighting about? So something else is going on.
Exactly what I believe. It doesn't matter who we believe in, what we believe in. At the end of the day, it's one soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all one source.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brother Sheldon.
Guys, I was gonna say, go ahead.
Before you start, look, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I've just got an emergency that's come up. I'm gonna have to call it, but I hope I can join you guys again.
It was great. It was great talking with you. Great building with you.
No, brothers, you know what? It's been a real pleasure, and I want to thank all our listeners for listening and interacting. Until next time, guys, I wish you all peace, love.
Yeah, and may the ancestors guide you in whatever you're going through, that it ends soon.
I say.
Take care.
All right.
All right, man.
Salam.
Salam. Yeah.
Oh, let me just hit this
I
bubble.
remember.
Hold on, let me hit this bubble. Save that thought.
Okay. Yep.
Grand Rising, sis. Grand Rising. How you doing? Hope you're well and family as well. Sending peace, love, and light to you.
Peace, love, and light to all.
Empress Renee.
Peace and love to everybody who's listening, everybody who's about to listen, will listen. Peace to you. Go ahead, Moor.
Yep. Now, I was remembering my mother also told me she had 2 dreams dealing with Shiva. And so Lord Shiva is supposed to be, the head god in the Hindustan pantheon, right? So she said she was like in this open field, and then this huge black snake came down from the clouds and stopped her path in the direction that she was walking. And she said the eye of the snake was about the size of a car tire. So that lets you know how big that head was, right? And it came down from the clouds.
Not me,
and then
Me and Snake ain't friend, you know.
Huh? Snake ain't friend?
Me and Snake ain't friend, you know. It's cutlass with Snake, you know.
It's funny because every time I go back to Alubayera, I'm seeing snakes everywhere. I'm always the one to spot them.
Yeah, I don't want to be with you, yo.
Ever since I was, I got bad snake stories because I remember when I was must have been maybe like between 6 or 8, and I was walking with my cousin. And on Sundays we had to go to church, so I'm walking down the street, and we're walking, and then a snake just passes crosses our path. That was one time. Then there was another time, me and that same cousin, we were playing. Like my uncle worked in like construction and stuff, so we had trucks, so we had to go to the gravel pit to pick up some some gravel and stuff. And we stopped in a little stream where there was water running. So me and my cousin, same one, we're there playing in the water. The water's coming up to your ankles or whatever, so we're picking up the stones, in the water and throwing them and stuff. And I remember bending down to pick up a stone, and I see the trail of a snake passing through my legs,
what the
tail. And so I stood up and I paused for a second, and I screamed, "Snake!" And so both of us jumped up and sprinted and jumped back into the truck, right? And so he was asking me, what kind of snake was it? What did it look like? So I explained it to him, and it was the horsewhip snake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he told me it was horsewhip snake. I told him, you know, the colors, and he said, "Oh, that was horsewhip." He said, "You're lucky because if that thing hits you with its tail, your foot swells up and everything, right?"
For real.
So that was another time, and then obviously a few other times, and then the last time I was there a couple of years ago when I went to my dad was there, so I went to visit the family and everything, and then we went up to where the house was being built, and we're walking, and I started walking, and then a snake just passes in front of me, and I said, "Pop, did you not see the snake?" He said, "No, he didn't see no snake," and my sister was there, she didn't see it either.
That's crazy.
So I'm always spotting.
You're a snake magnet. I'll stay away from you, yo. I don't want to see those, huh? Yo, I don't want to see those. I can watch videos and stuff like that, but to see one of those, I don't know what's gonna happen, yo. Eyes like car tires and all that.
Yo, when she told me that, and she said everywhere she turned, like she would turn left, and then it would block her path. Time.
Yeah, I have the dreams where you just have to wake up, yo. You don't even want to go through whatever it is. You know what I mean? I remember like having a dream of like just, I don't know how I ended up there, but all of a sudden there was a waterfall of snakes. Yo. You remember like Indiana Jones when they threw him in that thing?
I was about to tell you,
one of those ones. Pfft, it was like that. It didn't even get a chance for a snake to go over my foot. Yo, woke up one time. I don't even want to know where this is going. What, yo?
I was about to say that because my mom had the same dream with a bunch of she had that one dream with the snake, the massive snake coming down from the heavens, and then there's another one where there was just snakes all over the ground. But when she was walking, they kept moving out of her way.
Yeah.
So she realized. So she has a full connection to the Hindu gods, man.
Yeah.
Like she was saying that night when she saw Lakshmi, she was like sleeping or something like that, and she got up, like some type of bright light made her wake up, and when she woke up, the creak of her door was like open, and she saw this light coming in, right, and then Lakshmi walked into her room, and my mom was there, like, "Oh, you're Lakshmi," and you know, and I don't think she said anything to her. I don't think Lakshmi said anything to her, if I remember correct. But she was there for a couple of seconds, and she smiled at my mother, you know. And when my mother said, "You're very beautiful," when my mother said, "You're very beautiful," she said, "Thank you." And she stayed there for a couple of seconds and smiled at my mother, and then she disappeared.
Yeah.
And the next day, my mother went to see somebody to talk about it. One of the people that she talks about on a spiritual level, dealing with those deities, and the woman told her, if you had Lakshmi there, you could have asked her for anything, and she would have given it to you.
Yeah.
You know, anything you wished for at that point,
For real.
you would have gotten it. Yeah. So, she has matter of fact, you've seen on my IG when I posted the pictures from the temple and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah. So I mean, the mother's going to these temples and stuff like that, you know, and so yeah, she's been always into it. And she's always been connected to that stuff, and you know, she's singing soca chutney and all that too.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and a lot of the funny thing about it is a lot of the so-called Indians at Khalib, they don't like the fact that she's Asiatic and she's singing.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah. There's a hatred. There's a hatred there, yo. There's a hatred there. That's crazy. Yeah. Oh, let's get this bubble.
All right.
Top of the hour. Peace to everybody out there. If you're just getting in here, if you got any questions, just record your voice note. Well, peace to brother Icon Bay and the whole family who listens in every Saturday. We're just here because they banned them for 21 hours or something like that. Because somebody snitched or they heard him say something which takes this thing to a whole different level. You know what I mean? If they could do that. You know, he said something. And he got shut down. got shut down for 21 hours. At least they're not like IG doing like 2 weeks and YouTube doing a month and stuff like that. Yo. They're kind of easy. 21 hours. 21 hours. But that's all that analytics and all that stuff that our people like now. Because they think it's about virtual world. Well, now you got to deal with it. But yeah, let's just play this bubble.
Alright. I just want to say Islam. Is it?
Peace to Brother Adams Bay in
Peace.
the building. And everybody else out there, once again, we're here for our Saturday session that we usually have with Brother Icon Bay. More or less, what is color of law?
I'm writing in, putting in the hashtags now. Let's see.
So we had a good conversation with Brother Maverick, who I thought he was a European because of his thing. That's why they don't judge a book by its cover. And he ends up being from Hindustan and going in.
Yeah.
Going in. I think it is Europeans going in, and it's really one of our brothers, one of our Moorish brothers that might be of a lighter hue going in. Right? And he went, going back to the thing with Lakshmi, he went to Hindustan and saw the lady at the shrine. He went to see the lady at the shrine, and she was highly melanated. Ebony.
Ebony, you said.
Remember,
That's...
Remember, ivory is on the keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the song Ebony and Ivory? So she was melanated over there. And guess what? They don't call themselves black. For all the black people out there who think that they're black, well, there's people in Hindustan darker than you and they don't call themselves black. So how smart are you? If you're calling yourself black, and then there's people darker than you that don't call themselves black, never ever have they ever come out and said that they're black, you should probably be questioning yourself right now. If you call yourself black, but somebody in Hindustan who's darker than you doesn't call themselves black. Really think about that.
Right.
Really think about that.
You know, and this is one reason why I want to do that video. Want to make a video of, you know, where does black begin and where does it end? Because if somebody, prime example like that, if somebody, you know, at Hindustan is darker than you, are they considered black? Right? And if no, why is that? Is it because of their hair is straight? Okay, well, there's people on the continent of Al-Kibulan that have dark skin and straight hair.
Yeah. Ooh, that one's going to be crazy.
So, you know what I mean? So where does it begin and where does it end?
Nope, right and exact.
Right, you know, that there's people that are as quote unquote fair skinned as, you know, certain people at the Mediterranean.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't consider people at the Mediterranean black, do you?
Right.
So where does, you know what I mean? So that's the thing. So I'm thinking of doing something like that.
Yeah, that'll be
put together. Yeah, that'll be a good one because I have pictures of people from Vietnam when I was there.
Yeah.
And I think I have some. I mean, I posted some Cambodia pictures on IG when I was there as well, but I think I have more of some certain people that were dark.
Yeah.
Cambodia that were darker than me.
Yeah. That must be a culture shock crazy. Like.
Well, it wasn't culture shock for me at all.
Yeah, I mean, but like for people who never seen anywhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the version that they get is only what TV tells them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You end up going somewhere and you're seeing people. You think you're in South Central LA or whatever right now, and you're halfway across the planet. Yeah, that's crazy. You got a couple of bubbles here.
Sorry, Nation, I forgot to rise up everyone else. Rise up everyone listening. It's great to have everyone on the platform giving their interjections. Rise up everyone, sending peace, love and light to everyone.
Islam to all.
Well, I'm black. I'm melanated. And I'm great.
You want to address that one? I don't know if you're there. I'm not hearing you. And you're not even muted. Probably playing games. Well, let's look at it. Let's look at it again. When you say, I'm black, you just canceled out that you're melanated, because you can't be black and melanated at the same time. It's either one or the other. Right? If you say, I'm black, but everything black is negative, then you're really not great. You're not putting yourself in a great position by saying, I'm black. You could put yourself in a greater position saying, I'm light, than saying, I'm black. Because if your fingers get black, you're not going to want that to happen. As soon as your fingertips get black, you got problems. If I give you black water, you're not going to drink it. If I give you a black apple, you're not going to eat it. So, to say you're black when black is everything negative, you don't put yourself in a great position. But let's ride with the narrative that their response is going to be, well, that's the white man's, and then the white man made that up. All right, cool. The white man made up black is everything negative. All right, we'll give you that one. We'll put that over there. All right. How about black's an adjective? So if black's an adjective, how is that you? Because an adjective is something that describes. Adjective describes. So if the adjective describes the noun, why are you seeing a red car passing and you're talking about, oh yeah, there's a red going down the street, and then 50 reds are driving down the street? That's how people talk. And if you think that that's how people talk, then you need to check yourself, because you know people don't talk like that. So why would you call a car and not a red? But people, you don't call them by what they are, you call them by how they look. That's a fiction. And then if you're playing in that fiction, you're not great, because great people don't talk crazy, right? But you know, there's the dictionary, and the white man made that up, so you can't go with that. All right, cool, we'll take that. So we'll take the white man made up the negative connotation of black, put that over there, because you know you debunk that, right? And then we're gonna take again the concept that black is an adjective and people can't be adjectives. The white man made that up, so we're gonna take that, we're gonna put that over there. Okay, fine, you debunk that. All right. So now you look in the mirror, and then you look at yourself in a mirror, and you realize that you're brown. So now, if you're brown, which is a separate color, and then you call yourself black, which is not even a color, but that's a shade. But every time they ask you what color you are, you're checking black off, when black's not a color, black's a shade. And if black's a shade, then there's obviously not somebody's identity. How are you calling yourself black? You're brown. Now you say brown people and all that. Not go in there. Something happened to Brother Sheldon. Let's see if this note is him. Nope, none of them are. We'll get to those voice notes one sec. Let me just check this message with Brother Sheldon. Let's just see. No, it ain't gonna work. Alright, we'll play these.
Alright, so if I could address it real quick, so I know my brother will probably gonna be pushed back. For the brother who say he black, what I like to do, me specifically, respectfully and with peace and love, is let everybody know, like, you gotta understand, before you even say you black, right, I'ma just tell people, you gotta understand the 8 languages of law. The 8 languages of speech. They probably gonna end up clearing up for me a little bit later. But you gotta understand speech and how words are used. If you wanna call yourself a color, cool, but that means you really don't understand words at all. That's what I'm gonna say. You don't understand words at all. You don't take the time to study the words, and you don't take the time to show your own mental respect to even take the time to understand it's a color. So you disrespect yourself by calling yourself a color when you're a living, breathing human being. You gotta understand you're a human being. A human being is not a thing.
Exactly.
Me being black doesn't make me great. What makes me great is my life. And the things that I've done. The people that I've serviced. And the people that I continue to serve. Me being an asset is what makes me great, because I'm steadily giving. That's what greatness is all about, servitude. So I position myself and I invest in myself to always be giving back, regardless of the fact that I'm black. The respect that I get is because of the service that I offer to humanity through my education.
So if it's all about the service, then it's not because you're black, it's because of the service. And again, if we look at your avatar face is brown, the tie is black, the goatee is black, but your skin doesn't look like that. If you were black, you would be looking like your goatee and your tie. And you don't. So if you don't look like that, then you're not black. That's like, this is an apple, this is an orange. Oranges aren't apples. Oranges are oranges. Negus doesn't mean nigger. Negus means negus. Negus has nothing to do with nigger. They're lying trying to keep you calling yourself nigger. When nigger is derogatory. It's not aspiring. Call yourself a nigger. It means that you're in the highest side of society. Same thing like when you call yourself black. All that service that you did goes to naught now because you just tainted it by calling it black. And black is everything negative. Oh yeah, but we're not gonna go with that because that means that's how the European made stuff up, and we're not gonna do what the European does, but we're gonna buy his car. And we're going to get his mortgage, and we're going to get his license, and we're going to get his everything else. But his language, oh no, we're not going to use that. But we're going to go to his supermarket, but we're going to go to his school, and we're going to go to his daycare. But the language that the European made up, oh no, we're not going to deal with that. We're not going to look at that at all. Because the white man made that up, and he made that up to be racist, to keep the black man down and whatever. Talking crazy. Talking crazy.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't mean a human being ain't a thing. A human being ain't an to be called something. You gotta have some type of standard or something. I always ask people, yo, name me a black continent. They always say Africa, and they never name a continent that has the word black in it. It's crazy. You know what? Every time people talk about this black color thing, I want them to always talk about the green people. What about the yellow people? Because you know what? Everybody got some type of shade that's close to another shade, color, whatever you want to call it. So if you want to talk about the black people, talk about the green people, talk about the yellow people, talk about the red people, talk about the dark purple, blue people. You talk about all the colors of people. But if you can't name all the colors of people, which they are not colors, then stop calling yourself a color and try to find the actual thing. Like, you don't even call yourself American, you call yourself black. Like, America has more of a foundation than the word black. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. That's just what it is. Crazy. Because the mindset of our people is socially engineered. That's not them thinking. They were taught to think how they think. That's why they debate Moors. Because they're socially conditioned. They've been trained to hate themselves. So because they've been trained to hate themselves, right? Because they've been trained to hate themselves, everything that they do is self-hate. Doesn't matter what they do. Even if they do good stuff, it's still self-hate. Because it benefits them not doing it. Because it's supposed to be for everybody. The people that you're helping, as well as yourself, is supposed to benefit. But if all I'm seeing is myself having a Benz, and myself having a Beamer, and myself having a new car, and new shoes, and new shirts, and we can eat at the finest restaurant or whatever like that, and then everybody else out here is eating road cereal, then obviously there's an imbalance in the structure. Because why would some people be eating road cereal and then the other guy has 50 mansions? Obviously this stuff isn't evened out properly. And it's like that for a reason. It's orchestrated to be like that. And then they have ones on our side who say, hey, if that's what it's about, then I'm going to do that too. And now you have our own now on Forbes list. Before they make up their own rich list, they want to be on the Europeans list. Why don't just make up their own list? If they're Forbes, they could have their own list. They don't want that. They want to be on the European list. All right, then the people continue to suffer. Because now it's on the people. Because your leaders have already showed you that they sold you out. And they want to keep you black, deaf, and dumb. They want to keep you black, deaf, and dumb. So, you're either going to go with it or you're going to go against it. I don't know if you want to try to just log out of it, Brother Sheldon, and then come back in. Because it's probably something with maybe restart your phone or something. Let's get to these bubbles. If anybody else has any questions or comments, especially the mothers, please put yourself out there.
But you know what? I'm going to spin this another way. Because I like people who like to use that, and people always want to jack that. So I'm going to say you black. I'm going to tell you how you black. I'm going to tell you they get to kill you in the streets and get to take your babies away from you. But you know what? I'm going to spin this another way. Because I like people who like to use that, and people always want to jack that. So I'm going to say you black. I'm going to tell you how you black. I'm going to tell you they get to kill you in the streets and get to take your babies away from you, and they get to call you whatever they want to call you. Because you remember, black people had so many names. Negro, slaves, savages, niggas, whatever the hell you want to call it. But the more we put more titles on each other without having a solid anything to stand behind that has some type of foundation, because the foundation is at the bottom, we will never go anywhere, and they will continue to kill our people in the street. And I'm tired of it. So please read, learn about languages, learn about words.
Exactly. Islam, Brother Bay.
The brother said, he said when black people say, well, the brother said, study more, said, show me a black nation. People say Africa. Why would they say Africa? But they're really not lying, because the continent before was Africa. That continent, that landmass, which went all the way up because there's no Middle East, that landmass was called Kush. Right? Or Ethiopia.
Now look what you just said. That land mass is called Kush. Not the people are called Kush. The land mass is called Kush. The land mass is called Kush. So you still didn't say who the people are because they're not black. If they're from Kush, because the word black didn't even exist during the time of Kush. So they couldn't have been black because the actual word black didn't exist in the times of Kush. Much less 600 years ago. The actual word, black. I'm black. And then they say the black ancient people did something. No, they didn't. Because there's no ancient people called black. Because the word black didn't exist in ancient times. The word black is a modern word. But then, you know, they're not going to go with that as being the European stuff. So we shouldn't do it because that's the European stuff, so we shouldn't do it. No, they're going to ride with being black. That's social conditioning. That's not them thinking. Just like he said, you're going to say, where's the black land? And people are going to say Africa. That means that that's the black land because that's Kush. No, it doesn't. That's not the black land. If it's not called black land, then that's not the black land. If the people of the land look like tar, they're not black. If the people of the land look like tar, they're not black. Guarantee you that they have a nationality or some tribe that they're going to connect themselves to. They're not going to connect themselves to a color. Guaranteed.
Whether you know whether I'm black or whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, that does not. Let me say it like this: the people. I caught your comment on the back end. The people are suffering and the people are poor because of choice. Opportunities are there to not suffer. Opportunities are there to increase. The opportunities are available every single day, and it's not based off of your nationality. What you're trying to insinuate. Knowing your nationality does what? Tell me what it does, for real, for real. Tell me what it has done. Right? Just saying, period. I don't have to know that. And I'm still living a life better than most people who say they know their nationality. I mean, look at people who come from the continent we know as Africa, different. They come over here to do what? To grow economically, because nationality ain't working.
No, they come over here to rape the Aboriginal indigenous people stuff here who are the so-called people who call black. Black isn't something that's all around the world. Black is only in North America. And the only reason black is in North America is because it's been colonized. And in order to steal the land, you call the people something that they're not. And then once you steal the land, now you start telling all these other people from other countries to come here to be part of this multicultural society and whatever like that. But then the Negro, black, colored people live in the ghettos and on the reserves. And they get gentrified. But then the people with nationalities who come here, they start up their own community. How come they don't call it black? How come the Africans come here and they call their community Congolese community? Nigerian community? Ghanaian community. They're darker than us. They don't call themselves black. But what do? They come over here with their nationality and they set up everything that we're supposed to be doing with our nationality, which is Moorish. But we don't want that. We want to be Negro, black, colored, and then have nothing. And then we have one or two people on Forbes lists like this guy. And they think because they're rubbing shoulders with the man that they're somebody. You're not anybody. What have you done for the community? Have you gotten people from not eating road cereal, or you've been working 20 years and people still eating road cereal? You obviously haven't done anything. If all you're getting is new cars every week, and then these people are still, and you're talking about there's opportunities out there for them or whatever. The only reason the stuff is going on how it's going on is because these people are classified as black. So they're mistreated, they're abused, and they're exiled, and they become slaves or prisoners in their own land with no remedy or recourse. And then they get murdered in the street. But there ain't no Africans coming over here getting murdered in the street by police. That ain't happening to them in the numbers that is happening to us. So obviously, there's something going on. And we know for a fact that everybody else has a nationality and they don't call themselves a color. So because you're successful and you call yourself black, that doesn't mean jack. You're not successful. You're black. Guarantee you, if you're black, you have a European name. And if that bank account that you got that has 50 million in it is in a European name, then that's a European's finance. That's not yours. Because if you're black, you would have an African name. And your name ain't African. Your name's John Smith or whatever. And your bank account's in John Smith. And your license is in John Smith. And all the ID that you got is in John Smith. But then you come online as Shaka Zulu and you think people are impressed? People are impressed. Nationality is the order of the day. That's where it's at. If our people don't have a nationality, they're in trouble.
Nah, man. See, it's hard to enlighten a brother like you, inspire, because I know I might be young, so you might not respect the tone of my voice. But if you don't respect the history or the knowledge of the past of that actual content, which was taken over by a Roman emperor, or I'm sorry, a Roman general or sergeant, whatever the case may be, then you, my brother, are deluded. And you, my brother, are starting your history or your knowledge or your past or your ancestry or your legacy or your bloodline from being in a chain, being in a cage. And if you don't see a problem with your lineage being started from a cage or in some type of slavery, I'm going to say we gods. Even though some people don't like to say we gods, I'm going to say we gods. We was great. We knew everything. We taught everybody. And then we went out to lunch. We came back and our student had everything wrapped up for us so we can just be put in chains. And now look at us. We black. Chain.
Yep. Exactly.
It means pale, shiny, burning. Just look it up. The etymology of black. Please just look it up. It's going to be B-L-A-E-C. It's going to say black. Just look it up. It's the Latin word.
The landmass took on the name of the individual Cush, son of Ham. The word Cush in Hebrew mean black, man, or blackness. Oh, man. And for my boy's story, the people are getting shot down in America, whose children, black people in America, the reason why they go through the suffering is
because they're black. That's why.
They allow it. The blueprint to becoming economically strong, playing this game, bro.
Please.
Doesn't matter what you call yourself.
No, it matters.
These beasts don't care nothing about that.
Oh, it matters.
If you're not economically strong,
it matters.
And I mean strong, and understand how to play this financial chess game, I don't care how much languages you know.
You're not talking about how much languages.
They know a lot of languages.
You're not talking about how much languages.
And struggling.
Why are they struggling? Because that's been orchestrated for them to struggle. That's not how their life's supposed to be. Nobody's life's supposed to be that they're struggling. That's because of colonization. But you don't want to call out the European because he pays you. You use his dollar. You got his car. You're paying. I bet you it's some European that you paid for your house that you got. Or who you're renting from. Bet you it's some European. Bet you it's some colonizer. If we go check your wardrobe, all you got is colonizer stuff in your wardrobe. Right? There's a brother on here, Sheldon L. If you're so supportive, there he goes. He has his own shoe. Designed by him, created by him, and he's a brother. How about take your game, put your game on him, since your game works so good and you made it. Put your game on him. Don't tell me about our people are struggling and your life is great because you got bow tie and all this, that you're somebody. And then these people are nothing. Because they didn't take advantage of the opportunities or whatever. Talking like a real trader. Talking like a real sellout. We're telling our people, be Moors and you're going to be prosperous. Because Moors are prosperous people. Period. Moors aren't dumb nigger. Moors aren't black guys on welfare. Don't pay their child support and all that. Those aren't Moors. Check Moors historically. They weren't slaves. Moors historically ruled the planet. So why wouldn't you want to be a Moor? Why would you want to be black and have some European handouts? Because, oh yeah, you got $2 million in the bank account. That means that you made it. But your people are struggling. And then nobody else on the planet is struggling like that because all they got to do is go somewhere else, steal their stuff, and now they're prosperous. But how are they able to go do that? Because these people are being something that they're not. Because they've been social conditioned to live a fiction.
You know what it has done? It has shown you that you will never see a brother with a fez on the street. It has shown you that you will never see a brother who has family members who call themselves a nationality and know that they are Moors ever on the camera because their brother, sister, father, mother, or whoever passed away, died, murdered, nothing like that. Police ain't out here shooting my people. They out here shooting your people. You black people. They don't care nothing about y'all. So I'm gonna show you how your nationality and knowing it doesn't help. You call yourself black, and every time you check a black box, somebody somewhere says, yes, got another one. These niggas don't know nothing. And because we beat their parents so much, the children of the children of the children of the children have been dumbed down so much that they call themselves something that has no power, and they rather not even check it out to learn.
Exactly.
So also, let me share something with you. Ethiopia, the burnt face, or the land of blackness.
That's the Greeks that said that. That's not Ethiopians that said that. That's the Greeks that said that.
Gnat and you swallow a camel, right? Kush mean black, blackness.
That's
Ethiopia,
a lie.
Land of the blacks.
That's what Greeks said.
Man, you said the word black didn't come into existence. That's what you think those words mean, brother.
Greeks said. You know Greeks? Greeks said that Ethiopia means black. Everybody knows that's Abyssinia. Everybody knows that's Abyssinia. That's not Ethiopia. As soon as you say Ethiopia, they know that you're a dumb nigger. Because you don't even know yourself. Just like somebody from Hindustan saying India, you're a dumb nigger. You don't know yourself. Why do you think they're using India as the scapegoat now? Right? But then all the higher thinking people who live in the Himalayas, they have nothing to do with that because they're not Indian. They're not India. They know that's a corpse. They know that's a fiction. Why do you think COVID never made it to the Himalayas? Because those people sanitize every day up there because cleanliness is next to godliness to them. Go research it yourself. You go to the Himalayas and the place is smelling like sanitizer. Because that's a godly place. And next to God is cleanliness. And then you ask anybody who went to India, what's going on in India or whatever like that. You wouldn't even wanna walk through there. It's so dirty. But why is it dirty? Because they're saying India. which is a corpse, which is a fiction, when they should be saying Hindustan, which is going to change the energy and change the atmosphere, which would change the minds of the people. But you don't want to hear that. You want to be in your emotional thing, that everything means black. Matter of fact, go to Canaanland Moors and just go watch. Go to Canaanland Moors and watch Common Sense Quickies. Jump over Negro. That might teach you something.
Tell you where he from. He gonna tell you where he from. I talk to Africans. I speak to them. My Nigerian sisters ain't jagging that at all. We from Nigeria. Yeah, Africa's the continent, but we from Nigeria. They jag that. So I come over here in America, the United States Incorporated, you want to be called a black. So where's your flag at? Where's your constitution at? Or who gave you the right to be on this land and to move freely? Matter of fact, you got a social security card and you got a birth certificate. That's your slavery papers, okay? That's your slavery papers. And every time, and peep this, every time your kid, I'm gonna tell you, every time your child's have a child, you're gonna see them with a social security card and a birth certificate. That's the meal ticket for the machine. That's the meal ticket. I'ma always tax, and they ain't gonna never learn damn thing because I ain't supposed to be here.
They're mistreated because they're financially illiterate and don't understand how to play this game.
Please.
Miss me with that, bro.
Please.
I know a lot of Moorish Americans.
And what?
A lot of people from Ghana. A lot of people from Nigeria that's broke, struggling. Oh, you got some pride because you can say that you come from a nation.
Please. That's your problem.
That doesn't mean shit.
All you're about is financial
Why you broke? Not
gain.
because you're black. Because you don't take advantage of the opportunities.
Life is not about how people with finance are the most depressed people on the planet.
You want to play victim. At the end of the day, the opportunities for you to grow economically so you can create the life that you want and be of service to other people.
How do you know I'm not living the life that I want?
Insinuating, brother.
How do I know I don't live the life you want? You're the one who's playing that game.
You've been pre-programmed because you're insinuating.
You've been pre-programmed with colonization.
That's not every black person.
You've been pre-programmed with colonization. Once the people are classifying themselves as they're not, just like Brother Noble Adams Bey, you talk to anybody else on the planet, they don't call themselves a color. The only people who call themselves a color are people in North America. That's an issue. Period. There's nothing to debate. If you want to say that you're black, go ahead. If you want to be the rich black guys and you got your black bank and your black whatever, go ahead. Based on the conditions of our people, we know that doesn't work. Because look at the conditions of our people. And bringing up Moorish Americans being broke as if finance means something to a Moorish American like that. Moors don't care about money like that. Moors care about spirituality. Moors know that this is a flesh. Man is spirit, not the flesh. So any type of fleshly things that you're trying to put out there, any type of fleshly stuff that you're trying to put out there, to make it seem as if the Moors are in some type of destitute position and nationality doesn't work or whatever like that, you're talking crazy. You're talking crazy. You're talking egotistical because you made it. And because you made it, then that means, our people aren't worthy or whatever like that. And they're not taking advantage of opportunities or whatever like that. Half of these opportunities that our people are given are coming from traders who steal all the finance and don't do anything for the community. How much thousands, millions of dollars that these Europeans gave to these black people to fix their problems, and nothing's fixed, ever. Talking about they're not taking advantage of the opportunities. They're taking great advantage of the opportunities. The people who are like you, who want to find your way out, and then after you find your way out doing your BS, now here you come making videos talking about You know, if you read this book right here, it's going to let you think and grow rich because, look, I came from the ghetto too and all that BS. Get the hell out of here. If you're for your people, you go pay some of these people's rent out here because you know that they're getting raped. If you were for your people, you would go hire some lawyers to go sue some of these slumlords out here. If you were really about your people. People are about yourself. You're not fooling me with that BS. I'll tell you that.
I'm 15 years old and I have scoliosis.
People been dumbed down so much. It took me 33 years for me to understand. People been dumbed down so much. They don't want to fight. Fighting's too much. You don't understand that you're in a war and that your people are dying, and you rather sit on the side and be like, oh, well, that ain't me. Black people don't want to fight for nothing. You guys rather sit down and be told what you can and cannot do. And then when you get kicked in the butt, you want to complain about being kicked in the butt. But when masters say, hey, I need you to jump, you're going to say, how high, master? Why? Because every distraction that you have in your life, you want to take care. And I'm not talking about your kids. I'm not talking about your children. But I say your bills. I say your relationships. I say society. I say whatever around you makes you choose not to see what's going on in front of your eyes and just think. We bring a new information. Why not? Why not just look at it and think about it? Black people are dying still to this day. Slavery still going on. Why? Because we still in chains.
I am Aboriginal from Australia.
Peace, Moor. I'm back in. Could let me back into the show. Stereo was tripping on my end. It was flashing in and out, and I was actually nervous to sign out from the show because normally if there's only one person, it doesn't work. So that's why it took me so long because, yeah.
Peace, brother Sheldon.
Hey yo, man, ain't nobody about to allow their kid getting hit in the head, bro. I'm sorry, I don't mean to come up with no attitude. That right there just kind of bust my brain. You telling me people I understand people allow them, but I understand people allow themselves to be told what to do because they really don't know anything else. If you came from generations of people being enslaved, of people being told to do, or people being oppressed, there's a mentality that you have to work out of. I'm telling you, 33 years, bro, I was in chains in my head, and now I'm free. There's no way in hell I'm ever going back. And if you don't see it, and you continue to want to do the same thing, you'll never come out of somebody else's control. You're using your contract and business in somebody else's name. That right there don't even make people understand. America is a business, bro. It's a business. That's it. It's a business.
You said Moors historically ruled the planet. What happened to that? Why y'all not ruling now?
Because we have mindsets like yours. That's why we're not ruling now.
How y'all went from ruling the planet, right?
Because we started getting called black.
To not even being
and slaves and Africans. That's how. And look how good it worked. Only you got finance now. Everybody else is broke. Everybody else is broke. You got finance, and you're talking about what happened to the Moors in history. How come you're not rich now? Why don't you have your stuff? Because they colonized the planet. Smart person. Europeans colonized the entire planet. And now you're going with the colonizers' ideal of what it means to be somebody, and you're trying to tell us that we're nobody. Because we didn't take advantage of some opportunities and we're broke or whatever like that. I can go take out finance from the bank right now, buy something if I want. It's not about finance.